internet! Today I wanted to talk about some of my unfinished series. So if I've counted correctly and I've thought of everything, I have about 13 series on this list. They're from various genres, and in some cases I am caught up with what's currently been published, and the only reason it's not finished is because I'm waiting for the rest of the books to come out. And then in some cases, all of the books have been published and I'm just still trying to catch up on them. So without further ado, let's get started. The first series I want to talk about is the Dorothy Must Die series by Danielle Page. I have read the first two books, Dorothy Must Die and The Wicked Will Rise, but I still have two more books in this series to complete, as well as all of the short stories. I think the last two books are called Yellow Brick War and The End of Oz. This isn't my favorite series. I really enjoyed the first book, but the second book was just kind of eh. But I still do want to find out what happens in the end, so I'm probably going to finish the rest of them. The next series is the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. I have read Red Queen and also the novellas published under Cruel Crown, and the novellas are called Queen Song and Steel Scars. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to actually complete this series or not. Right now I'm kind of leaning towards no, but I haven't totally decided yet, so I wanted to go ahead and include it on this list. But I am hesitant to continue with it because the first book was just kind of eh, and I really disliked both of the novellas. And there are just a lot of other books that I want to read more in the series, so I don't know. We'll see. But since I haven't officially decided yet, I wanted to go ahead and mention it. The next series I am in the middle of is the Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children series by Ransom Riggs. I have only read the first book in this series, which is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, and I actually just finished it a couple of days ago. I listened to the audiobook, and I really liked that way of listening to it. This book is told very interestingly because it's got a lot of different, like, weird pictures scattered throughout it of the quote-unquote peculiar children, and even though the pictures add to the story, I'm sure, I really liked the audiobook because I'm just not a big fan of, like, creepy things. So for me, it worked better to listen to the audiobook and then to go back and flip through the pictures that I'd missed instead of having to have something creepy staring at me while I was reading the words on the page next to it or something like that. But there are 3 books in this trilogy. Hollow City is the second one, and the third one is Library of Souls. And I'm going to start the Hollow City audiobook soon. I have requested it at my library. I'm just waiting for it to ship to the branch that is close to me so that way I can pick it up. And I don't own Library of Souls yet, but I really enjoyed the first book. I thought it was super interesting and very unlike anything I've ever read, and I can't wait to continue on with the series. Next, I have the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. I have read both A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury, but I haven't read A Court of Wings and Ruin yet. I do own it. I just haven't read it yet because I've been doing a month-long readathon, and that book was not on my TBR. So I haven't started it yet, but I do plan on reading it very soon. And then there's going to be more books in this series, although I think A Court of Wings and Ruin is like the wrap-up of this particular storyline. So I'm not sure what the rest of the books are going to be about. So I guess even after I read Akawar, I won't be totally finished with the series yet, but I don't know. I am also in the middle of the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I am not going to pull all of the books off of this shelf like I have been the other ones because there are too many, but I am currently caught up on this series. It's just not done being published yet. This fall we're getting kind of a book 5.5, I guess, and then the 6th and final book, I guess, in the series comes out early next year sometime, I think. I really like this series. I know there's a lot of controversy about this series, and I do understand why it's problematic, but I do really love it, and it did just really spark something in me when I was reading them, and I'm very excited about both of the next books in this series. Next, we have the Three Dark Crowns duology. I guess that's what this will be called, by Kendara Blake. I've read the first book, Three Dark Crowns, absolutely freaking loved it, and the last book in the duology, One Dark Throne, comes out in September. I am so excited. I loved this first book. I cannot wait to get the second one. I will be reading it as soon as it comes out, and then I will be able to say I have finished this duology. If you haven't read this yet, I highly recommend it. It's so good. Next, I have the Illuminate Files by Amy Kaufman and Jade Kristoff. There are going to be 3 books in this trilogy. I have only read the first one, which is Illuminate. I do plan on reading Gemina next month, and then the 3rd book, which I think is called Obsidio, comes out early next year, I think. This is a sci-fi trilogy that's told very uniquely through like documents and voice scripts and ions and what have you. And I am not a huge fan of sci-fi, but I really, really enjoyed this first book. Cannot wait to read Gemina, and I am very highly anticipating the 3rd book coming out as well. And next I have the Giver Quartet by Lois Lowry. I have only read the first book, which is The Giver. I am currently reading the 2nd book, which is Gathering Blue. I'm listening to it on audiobook right now. I loved The Giver. I'm not enjoying The Gathering Blue as much, but I still want to finish the rest of the books. The 3rd one is called Messenger, and the 4th one is called Sun, and they are all companion novels, so the stories are kind of told in the same universe, but they're not really related, as far as I can tell. Anyway, so I can't say a whole lot for Gathering Blue yet, because A, I haven't finished it, and B, I'm not liking it as much as I liked the first book, but I highly recommend The Giver. I thought it was fantastic. Next, I have the Wizard of Oz series by L. Frank Baum. I've only read the first book, and it's my favorite classic, and I want to read all of the books. I believe there's either 13 or 15 books in this series, actually, and I have made it a life mission of mine to read all of them. I own, like, bind-ups of the first 6 books, 3 of them being in one bind-up, and then the next 3 being in a different bind-up, and I don't want to buy any more of the bind-ups until I read through all of those, but I am planning on reading all of these books at some point in my lifetime. Next, I have The Passenger Duology by Alexander Bracken. I have only read the first book, Passenger, and it's a historical fiction book, which is not a genre that I've really read a lot of, but it's also about time travel, so it was very interesting in that respect. I don't feel like I enjoyed it as much as most people did, but I still really liked it, and I am planning on reading Wayfarer very, very soon. I also have Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco, and I can't remember how many books are supposed to be in this series. I want to say it's going to be a trilogy, but I might be wrong, so correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But the first book was really good. It's another kind of like historical fiction, kind of like mystery thriller kind of book, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it would actually have made a great standalone, but since I did enjoy the first book so much, I am looking forward to the 2nd book coming out, which is called Hunting Prince Dracula. I think it's coming out this fall, and I will definitely be reading it. Next, I have the Shades of London series by Maureen Johnson, and the only reason I'm putting this on this list is because even though I am caught up with what's been published, I am pretty positive that she's coming out with a 4th book at some point. So I wanted to go ahead and add it to the list. So the first one is called The Name of the Star. The 2nd one is called The Madness Underneath, and the 3rd one is called The Shadow Cabinet. And I really, really love this series. I think it is fantastic, so much fun, and she better be writing a 4th book. I better not be making that up, because I want to dive back into this world with a new story so badly. This is one of those series that I feel like is highly, highly underrated on BookTube. Next, I have the Embassy Row series by Ali Carter, another series I feel like is kind of underrated on BookTube. But the first one is called All Fall Down, and the 2nd one is called How They Run. The 3rd one has come out. I have not bought it yet, but it's called Take the Keys and Lock Her Up. I'm not sure if it's the final book in this series or not. If you know, let me know in the comments. But I really enjoyed this series so far, and I really need to get my hands on the 3rd book so I can read it. And I actually thought of another one that I forgot about until I looked down and saw it. But the other series that I never finished all the books of is the Chronicles of Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. I think I got through the first 5, and then I never read the last 2. But it's been so long since I've read these that I really just need to start over from the beginning. So I do want to do that at some point. But this is a bind-up of all 7 books, and at one point in time, I really loved this series. I really need to just give it another go and start from the beginning and actually finish it this time. One of these days I plan on doing that, but I'd actually forgotten about this because the bind-up is on my TBR shelves, and I didn't look on those shelves because I have a lot of other series on my TBR shelves that I haven't started yet, so why would I look down there? But because of reasons like this, I should have looked. And as far as I can tell, that's all the series that I am currently in the middle of. I think I might make a video like this, like maybe every 6 months or so, because I think it might be kind of interesting. Let me know down in the comments if you are also reading any of these series, or are in the middle of them, or need to start them, or finish them, or whatever the case may be. You get the idea. And that'll be it for this video, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye!